Hey guys, welcome back to the All Blue Podcast. This is going to be episode 19, and like the time before where we had Jackson on, we have another very special guest on, this time not just as a replacement, but this time as a fourth member. Welcome, Gavin of Bandai. How are you doing today?
I'm not of Bandai. It's
They
like
call him...
everyone says I'm from Bandai, like I'm working for Bandai. I got a guy like on my Twitter complaining at me that like, why did you print these cards? I don't work for Bandai, guys.
So
I'm
anyways,
just a
thank you
guy.
very much for joining us today, Gavin Bandai. So we have a tradition on the All Blue. Every time we are asked questions by the community, we give them answers. These can be more detailed, more insightful, sort of like meta-based questions, and they can just be something fun, like who's your favorite artist. This time I have a question from Momo in the iKailaKai card, who asks, if you could only play one leader forever, which one would it be? I guess you are our guest today, Gavin. If you could only play one leader, assuming that it can always be meta relevant, let's say.
That's a different thing. Are we choosing
Yeah.
based on style or choosing based on fun?
Do you want to give two answers? Because the
Let's answer
question
both.
had
Why not?
the question had
Oh, sure,
both of these
yeah.
as questions. Yeah, I mean, there's two variants of the
Um,
question, and I'm kind of mixing them into one question.
Answer based on just like I want to win. I definitely pick Goofy just because that deck is the most fundamental deck ever, and I can just do everything. As far as fun, probably Sakazuki. I want to go back, man. Take me
Bring him
back.
back.
Take me back to the days.
He's on
Now
the
every card
podcast.
beats Rebecca, so that's not going to be happening anytime soon.
Just never printed
Yeah.
good. No, it's not. The problem is not Black Rebecca. I always tell this. Like they just stopped printing good 3 costs in Black.
That's also
The
true.
last one was EBO1 Brook.
Ooh. Okay. I guess for me, if I wanted to always win, can I just like say RP Law? That deck was so broken. but,
That was-
but like if this deck was always meta relevant, I would love to play OP1 RP Law. That deck, even like now, I feel like if I played it, I would still be learning stuff throughout. I just feel like that's just a powerful. If it's powerful enough, I just think a deck I want to be playing always.
You mean red green or?
Sorry, red green. Sorry, red green. I apologize.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for fun, Vegapunk. I'm sad that Quasar is gone, but I love playing that deck.
I mean,
All right,
it's
those
BY
answers
Luffy.
probably piss people off, but it's fine.
No,
BY
it's a good
Luffy for
choice.
Hrvoje.
Yeah, I mean, my answer probably also is something people hate, but BY Luffy. I generally like decks that in some like fundamental way break the game, and especially when they can add control aspects to their playstyle and then just completely bully everything under the sun. So
But
if there
that's
was
how
some way,
BUI counterpoint. That's how BUI is played, but that isn't necessarily how BUI would always be played, assuming it's always meta relevant. It could just be like
figured-
some weird yellow leader.
I figured like the question maintains the style of the deck forever and ever and ever. Because if it doesn't, then I feel like you could make that argument for every single leader. But
That's also fair.
Yeah, everyone's choosing completely broken leaders. We have two banned leaders and BY Luffy as a banned card. My leader is not banned, so therefore is not going to be as broken. It's obviously going to be Ema. I think that Ema was just... don't give me that face. Don't give me that face.
There's no way he has any better of an answer.
That's much worse of an answer. Just go second.
I don't know. Ema, like, I think just the way that I enjoy playing the game, I like having security. I like having a very clear goal. Aggro decks are very difficult for me because I don't know when I'm supposed to flick the switch or like go for it. Whereas there's a sense of inevitability with the deck like Ema or a deck like Black Yellow Teach, and I like that sort of security because it's not necessarily playing towards winning the game, but playing towards a what is it? Place where you know
A
that the game is
goal?
always going to end. Yeah, the goal of the game is
Yeah.
different from just closing out the game. It's getting to a point where you know that you can't lose, and I really enjoy that sort of style. And we've had it come
I
and
think-
go. Yeah, 8 Cost Kid, Black Yellow Teach, Black Ema, but of those decks, I really enjoyed Black Ema the most.
I miss like defined win conditions for sure. That aren't just
elaborate
like
that.
like right now it's the very generic one piece win condition of like all the decks basically play towards the generic one piece condition of get bored, get cards out of your opponent's hand. And I think before it was less get bored, get cards out of your hand. It was establish like your Exodia, especially during like kid decks. Even like to a lesser extent, I think Sokka was a little bit of that. It was like less establishing board and more establishing control.
Like maintaining the loop.
Yeah.
This
I
feels like
also miss that playstyle, but at the same time, like the last 2 turns of the game when those were the playstyles were just going through the motions of a game that's
Oh
already
yeah,
been
that's
lost or
fair.
won.
That's fair.
So
That's fair.
there are some downsides to it.
Yeah. I just like I don't want everything to be like that, but I miss having those decks.
That's true.
Oh, actually, I
think
changed
it's-
my answer to Blue Nami. I love that deck.
And the more broken leader than
God.
RP Law, real.
Okay.
I mean,
I want
conclusion.
to say,
Yeah, broken decks are fun.
yeah. I just want to say the removal decks like tested a different skill set from like something that's still present in TCGs, but it just it's a completely different thing from what we're currently having, which is like tempo piece basically.
Yeah.
I think both are valid, both are fun, and both can be very skillful. But yeah, ultimately, I guess you're going to be biased towards one format or another either way. Yeah, I think they should like allow more room for those playstyles to mix though. Like lately, they overprinted all sorts of removal protection to the point where like the only way to play removal is an L, because he can actually rest and reduce power. But yeah, I mean, fun times. Like Enel kind of reminded me of that era with this playstyle.
Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
there's so much trauma from Black Control that they kind of overcorrected and made Black Control kind of unplayable. They keep printing things like and all that just cannot, or like EMA, of course, that just can't be removed by effects. But have kind of neglected to deal with power-based removal, which means that that's kind of the only way to viably play Control. And Enel with Mamaragang just is the best version of that. But yeah, I think I don't necessarily think that I really miss that kind of deck where you have different win conditions, because the thing that you're describing where you just make board and play to get cards of the opponent's hand is just fundamental One Piece. And if you're good at fundies, then you can be like Hrvoje and just win every treasure cup, except for the last one, I guess. But I mean, like just it's a game that rewards fundamentals, and the fundamentals of the game, if you're good at them, then you just keep winning. So I appreciate that. It doesn't feel like you just lose to, I mean, he has his Moria combo, and I'm a deck that innately loses to removal, so therefore I lose. So I enjoy that aspect of the game. But yeah, I can see a lot of decks kind of play in that pattern, I imagine.
My only counterpoint to that, and it's almost like devil's advocate level, is that it's really hard for new players to get in because it's just so. Oh, hey. It's like,
Yeah, I'm in Magic Omens, so
yeah. Like, I think there can be a little bit of an issue where you get to the point where, like, a 5% skill gap means 100% win rate. I think that everyone here probably would prefer that, but I think that's very bad for the game as a whole.
So I think that 5% skill cap, if that means like a difference in like a massive win rate percentage, it's very difficult to know what you're doing wrong compared to like Hrvoje or something. Is like you play Goofy and he plays Goofy, and there's a very clear different result, but you can't really tell the difference. But there's these small innate mechanical things. But I don't necessarily think that means that if you're a newer player that you just drop Goofy. I think that's just means like in general, I feel like a lot of One Piece card game decks as a whole are lower skill floor and then very high skill ceiling. I think that's like a very good balance. Whereas I think that a lot of removal decks end up being like deceptively low skill ceilings because it's just doing the numbers game and the math of just how do you clear their stuff every single turn. So
I mean,
yeah,
that's fair. I'm more talking about like locals, when you like go to a locals and you're like a new player that built your deck, like you net deck something, right? And you go to your locals and you just get stomped like 4 times in a row. Not like 4 games in a row, like you go to your locals 4 times and you just get absolutely stomped 4 times in a row. Like I'm not advocating for like trigger slop, but I think that having a little bit of trigger slop is actually good for the game. I'm gonna get flamed for this because it lets newer players have a chance to overcome the skill gap a little bit.
Great intro into the All Blue podcast, by the way.
yeah. To be fair, I agree generally. Like I do think games benefit from that because, but I'm not sure if it would necessarily harm One Piece just because of the strength of the IP. Because there's other games like that,
That's
like Flesh and Blood TCG is like that, and Reefbound is like that, where having good fundamentals, understanding of tempo go such a long way, but one game has an IP, so it's popular regardless, which is Riftbound, and then the other doesn't have an IP, so it's like this niche pick that only
Yeah.
really competitive players play. But yeah, generally having something that is going to allow newer players to still perform, to win locals, and pull off upsets is a good thing for the game. Even though
Yeah,
it
I
can be
would-
frustrating if it happens at like the high stakes tournament, but generally
Yeah.
it is a good thing for card games growth.
Another thing that you were talking about, this like 5% win or a skill diff, like creating this massive win rate. I'm not entirely sure if this happens in Japan, but I feel like in the English card game, almost everyone talks about their matchup against Anel like bifurcated. It's like if I play against a bad Anel, it's fine, but if I play against a good Anel, it's really, really hard.
Yeah. It's
And
a
I'm just
thing
like,
here too.
yeah, it's just like, okay. Like it's just a very big like skill disparity.
It's the bad
that
NL
exists.
matchup versus the good NL matchup, which is and the average NL matchup. Like they're all completely different.
Yeah.
I do actually agree that variance is good. Like, even if you're the best player in the world, losing sometimes just to some variance, and like that's innately built into the game through like draws and whatnot, and that's kind of been mitigated a lot recently with just lots of consistency in the game. It feels like you can't play a deck unless it's like extremely consistent, and there's been some balance of power between like consistency and power, but then I mean nowadays it feels like every single leader just draws 2 cards per turn, and a lot of that balance has been mitigated. And it's just who can play their cards better, and then who has the better fundamentals at that point. One of the old games that I used to play, like I used to play a lot of Hearthstone, I used to play a lot of Legends of Runeterra, and part of the reason why I enjoyed Hearthstone a lot back in the day, this is like way back in the day, like Naxxramas' first couple of expansions, was because
I was about to harp on you real quick.
yeah, no. Like way back in the day, is that there was a lot of variance in the game. There's a bunch of like random effects. Like I think it was like Yogg-Saron or something, just like cast random spells and just anything can happen.
Yeah.
Whereas Legends of Runeterra was like very skill based, no randomness sort of game. At least like in the beginning, it felt like you just play your cards and they did exactly what you expected to do. They even had like a thing that would tell you exactly the outcome of the battle. And I kind of got bored of that because every game felt a little bit repetitive compared to a game like Hearthstone. So, I mean, I can see that sort of variance being exciting. But even though One Piece card game does feel very consistent and you can consistently pull off like the same plays over and over again for some decks, I think that there's still enough like skill built into it that I haven't really felt like there's an issue with that.
I think NL was my big like people that are good at this deck are too good at this deck. Like the difference is just insane.
Next week we'll get Luca on to talk to us about ML for 2
Oh
hours.
my god.
How he won Zagreb or something.
Jesus Christ. Save some wins for the rest of us. He keeps dominating.
Yeah, and then after the Flame Flamethrower, it's like how I won with Purple NL and OP17 featuring Luca Furian.
They really do need to make Croatia its own region. It just needs to happen at this point.
Yeah, like give us more world spots. To Croatia specifically.
His two world
I'm-
spots.
I'm not even joking. I think they should.
Like,
I
have you even
s-
seen the
I-
global games? Our group was what? Italy,
I-
Mexico.
If there is one thing I say to Bandai every time I see them, it's that you need to give Croatia their own spots.
And that's the only thing he
Because-
says.
That's the only thing I say.
He passes by
Gavin's
the
basically-
people who, yeah, the designer of Borsellino pats him on the back, keep going at it. I like the new design.
Yeah.
Then he walks over and is like, but Croatia.
Croatia's too good. Nerf
Ambassador to
Croatia.
Japan.
Yeah, so bit of a long intro, but I think actually you got a couple of interesting topics at the beginning of this. This is actually an episode about the extra grand battle. So the Flame Fruit, obviously people are very excited for this. Lots of crazy prizing, starting from 3 wins, which is pretty insane considering how rare this tournament is and how expensive that prizing most likely is going to be. So people are very excited for that, but that doesn't mean that that's the only tournament that we have in that time period. Because not only do we have the Flame Fruit, not only do we have finals, but we also have the Regional Treasure Cup and, very interestingly, the first, I believe, large-scale extra grand battle, which has some very, very good prizing as well. So in this episode, I kind of want to explore some of the options, because I think that OP17 seems to be a bit of a turning point where extra actually is going to be different from standard. So I want to see kind of if you guys have any ideas what sort of decks might be worth consideration and testing for people who are more excited for this than, you know, something like the Regional or the Flame Fruit, for example. I don't know where to start. if anyone just has a leader or a card that they want to sort of spotlight and how it might change things in extra, we can just go from there, I think.
No, I just want to start by. I think I've said this on Obu before, or maybe it was just in our discussions after recording an episode. But the fact that nobody wants to play NL with the counter events from OP01 annoys me to no end. Or like, Blast Breath is such a good card. Ultimorta is like a decently good card, and nobody plays them. Like, come on, man. Like,
Wait, nobody plays them?
No,
I haven't
nobody
seen a
plays
single
them.
list in Japan or the West running at least one of those cards. Like, Blast Breath is
I've
one cost for
seen
free, man.
I've seen a couple in Japan running Blast Breath.
Okay.
I haven't, and I'm subscribed to a lot of like good Japanese player accounts, or like follow them, because I got the list from from Japan. But they might be an exception that what's the word for it? Proves the rule or something? I don't remember.
Breaks the rule, yeah. Exception that breaks the rule.
Wait, no.
I'm 99% sure that's what you
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But yeah, purple and all. I mean, I played it quite a bit back in like OP15, but not recently, ever since the advent of Black Yellow Teach. But yeah, purple and all, just a deck that I think a lot of the times actually you have to think about for extra grand battle. It's not going to be some old leader that just can randomly use a couple of old cards and suddenly shoots up from like D tier to S tier. It's going to be like an A tier leader right now that can use like 1 to 2 old cards and can therefore become S tier in the extra format. So I think there's a couple of things that you can consider. One interesting just kind of package as a whole is black removal. We kind of talked about this a little bit at the start of this episode, but there's no good black reduction in the current standard format of the game aside from like Tempest Kick. Yeah.
That card's great.
They just
Yeah.
printed the terrible Loki event. Like,
Yeah, no, the lucky
Oh,
events.
the -1 everything.
Yeah.
That has counter.
if you remove 2 bodies, it's effectively a Tsuru, but when you want to counter with it, you have to pay 1 don instead of just being a 2k. So it's just the worst Tsuru.
If you remove 4 bodies, it's super good.
There we go. Put some Loki respect.
Yeah.
Okay. But
Yeah, put some respect on my
Well,
guy.
I mean, but if you're just
If you
running
play
that card
2
for
of them, you could board wipe. It's a wrath.
What? No, card's terrible.
No.
You're not gaslighting this.
But like best case scenario, the opponent has 5 characters on the board and you use it to -5 cost across the board and then play Loki. That's still the same as if you were to play Ice Age. So like the benefit would just be that it's a +3 k to your leader. But in the extra format, you don't have to do these weird things like trying to figure out how do you get 10 cards into your trash to finally enable this Tempest Kick. How do you get the maximum value out of this Loki board wipe event? You just run Tempest Kick, or you just run Ice Age, you just run Great Eruption, and I mean, honestly, that alone might be good enough for some black removal decks, even if it's just like Ice Age and 6-cost Loki and call it a day or something in your black deck that doesn't necessarily need to heavily tech into removal. I think there's lots of potential in black removal in the extra format just because black as a whole isn't in a bad spot right now. But what do you think as the blue-black Sakazuki player, Mr. Rails Zero?
I think... Okay, so first of all, I think NL is the best deck for extra Grand L specifically because he gets to ignore the removal part because NLs are immune. That solves a lot of problems that arise from other removal decks having tools added and potentially being played, and you still have all the same like good matchups into the rest of the like current field, but also against some old leaders that might gain relevance but rotated out like Blue Doffy or Red Green Law just because of your toolbox of spells. So, I mean, it feels like the most flexible option to just like the most balanced matchup spread. I would say. I'm sure there's going to be some matchups that remain bad from the current format, but if you actually want a safe pick that ignores the removal and just has all the options, I think NL remains a good pick in EGB. And I guess the question was about black removal specifically. I do think it's good. I think it's really good as long as you're not running into all the decks running all the immune characters. Though I'm not sure how Rox affects that with his not once per turn protector 2-cost guy. But removal is always going to be broken.
I think Rox isn't that good in EGB against black removal just because if you get like multiple 3-cost bricks out, you can just absolutely punish the 2-coster really hard.
Yeah, we can't beat that. Kyo.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you can kind of abuse the Kyo so that it's not that bad. Like, you're
Problem
playing
there-
Luchi, you attack in, you can spam 3 costs, Brook, every turn to get it to give you cards.
Yeah, there is a problem there, and this is something we kind of. So when we were testing for global games, we wanted to like counter specific picks in opposing lineups, and for one of them we wanted to counter Goofy. So we tested like Lucci against Goofy, and turns out Lucci loses to Goofy. Like the games that Lucci wins,
That's
he wins
shocking.
really hard, but on average he loses way more than he wins because none of the black tools are reliably like it's not consistent. You have the game has power cap consistency in the sense that if your deck is not reliably doing the thing it's meant to be doing every game, it's not going to do well. It's not going to perform well on average, and that's the problem that I think black decks don't solve in EGB because they don't really get any tools to solve it. Like Sakazuki will be the closest to it, but for life and no way to generate card advantage is rough.
You don't think Loki will be enough to help?
I think Loki is only really strong in like the Elba Luffy just because he's a blocker by default. So you get the removal and the tempo play. But problem is all those 2 costs, like all that stuff makes you more reliant on the second curve and on actually your opponent being able to push through your removal, like with just going super wide. Because you don't have a way to generate card advantage, so you're just losing cards. And I think the blocking part is really important for maintaining tempo, but I don't know, I could be wrong. Like I didn't test EGB.
We'll move on to a different leader. I mean, like we can talk about Hrvoje's leader he's been playing for a long time, UG Luffy. That's a deck that's also kind of performed pretty well in the EGBs in the East recently. And I think that the de facto inclusion has always been the 1-cost buggy, just so I think that consistent piece is so good. I've seen some people play 7-cost Ivankov. Is that card worth playing just to get
No.
triple body turns? No.
Nope.
Definitely worth playing. Whoa.
Nope.
Triple body? Come on. It's so
not.
good.
It's definitely good. No,
Oh, shit.
okay, what you're saying. That's when you're supposed to beat an L.
I literally went through this entire process. I promise you. I went through this entire process. I only played Luffy for EGBs. I've played in 2 EGBs with Luffy and I won both of them. It's not Ivankov. It's a good card and it seems really good, but it's just not, it's not enough. Like the counterless part of it is just so bad.
That is a
Already around
factor.
Boa. And I think Boa becomes a lot worse in EGB. I mean, she's already kind of bad in 16.5 and 17, so in EGB she's even worse. So you just slot in Ivankov, and Ivankov goes 756. Boom.
I disagree, but I would love to see it.
That's a money match that I want to watch, but but for our viewers at home, a little bit of context. Gavin is not a very public face. Well, he's a very public face figure, but not at least in terms of the content creation side of things. He's more on the Bandai side of things, but he still is able to go to extra grand battles. In Japan, we have smaller scale 5-round extra grand battles, like you guys had for Serial Yamatos for just a brief month. And
They're Mickey Mouses.
yeah, I mean, he's been crushing those. Unfortunately, I haven't gotten into one in like 3 months, but we don't talk about that. But when I did get into one, I threw in 3-cost Beige into my BUI Teach, and that was a lot of fun. I think that's another card. I don't know how great BUI Teach as a whole is going to be in OP17, but there are some fun, like, old random yellow cards that you can just throw in to make your yellow slop even sloppier, I'm sure. Like 3-cost Beige. Okay, that's the end of the list, I guess.
Yep.
That's the one. That's the one.
I mean, I think the biggest thing for Teach is that it gets pudding now.
Yeah, there's a couple of decks. The 3-cost pudding, for people who don't remember,
Oh,
3-cost
that
4,000.
Yeah,
On play,
sorry.
trash a card with trigger, and then draw 3. And then it has trigger. The trigger you don't use unless you're a Big Mom Pirate, because it's just a Big Mom Pirate search. But importantly,
We can
because
find
it
more
has
puddings.
Yeah, that's true. Just search for another pudding, or if you tech in like a random 2K or something, you could search for that. But I mean, for BUI Teach, pretty solid card. Also very good for BUI Moria. So one of those things that we've seen some people kind of cope a little bit. It's actually really great for BUI Moria. It gives you tons of resources. Also sets up your trash for when the opponent hits into your leader, for you to get like that random thriller slop trigger. So I think that card in general is just like pretty solid in general for OP17. And then, couple that with just generic good yellow, and then you probably have a pretty decent deck on your hands.
I think like speaking specifically of decks that should do better in EGB, I think putting the leader is actually a pretty decent shout. Just access to old 10 custom is kind of insane.
I recently learned that Double Finger is a 4K power with trigger. If you ever want to play that.
You play it. I think you play 4 of them.
It's the 4-cost 4K that ramps.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think you
yeah.
play
What the
4
hell?
straight up. Yeah, no, it's a really good deck.
What the hell?
I think putting an extra is actually like minimum tier 1.5 ish.
You're just
Like
making
it's
it
obnoxiously strong.
so much easier for Hrvoje to just bulldoze through all the puddings with Goofy now. No, I
I don't
mean,
think it's that bad, actually, like unironically.
it has the new OP17 Big Mom support, which is basically just like up until you get to that 10 dong turn, you're just healing once a turn essentially.
Yeah.
There's also the Katakuri, which I believe is just a 6-cost 4,000, which on play heals and then does something else. I don't remember the rest of that effect.
Minus 3k.
It's just a 1 target, right? And then the Sweet Generals
Yeah,
is
1 target minus 3k.
Okay. Yeah, so you can play that 6-cost Katakuri off of the purple 2-cost Katakuri once the opponent gets 6 dong. So you can just do a 2 dong heal and minus 3k, which is basically just a super Robin in a way, the L-buff Robin, minus 3k to something for 2 dong, but you also get the heal, and then once you drop down that 10-cost Big Mom from OP17, it also becomes an 8k body. So, I mean...
I think Pudding's got some sauce.
I need to test this, but I do think some of the...
This is all theory, yeah.
My roommate Kyle was actually playing this last night because he just wanted to test 17, and that's the first thing he did. So, but it wasn't EGB, it was just 17, and it performed surprisingly okay.
Yeah, like I think in 17 it's probably like tier 2-ish. But I think the old 10 cost mom is enough to put it up like at least half a tier.
There's also the 1-cost Pudding as well from OP03.
Oh, yeah,
Another
also good
searcher for
search.
consistency. Yeah, that's... There's some cards, yeah.
She's got some sauce.
She gets a lot of searchers. With
Yeah, it's a lot of consistency.
She gets a
Actually, pretty nice.
lot of searchers. Because there's purple pudding as well.
And if you're down bad, you can always play the event.
I mean, if you're really down bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that gives you access to like Kaido tools.
Yeah.
Kaido, like starter deck Kaido is also kind of a deck.
Having a redundant like Onigashima is like actually really important because like right now it sucks that there's only Queen. So having like 2 different ways to ramp on 3 is actually quite good.
Yeah, I mean, now you got Queen, you've got Yamato, you've got Onigashima if you want to play it.
I forgot about Yamato. Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you include Maria, you can pretty consistently get to the point where you can just rip leader ability every turn and still get to 10 on the next turn. Even without Maria, if you have King plus 10 cost Kaido and Queen, you can get there every turn.
By the way, he's talking about ST04 Kaido. To
Yeah,
burn
04
life
Kaido.
and just ramp back. Yeah, but that is actually
Oh,
one thing I was thinking about. Or I just realized like one of the big issues that I have with the new Kaido is that it feels like you really need 6-cost King to be able to consistently get like the triple ramp going, because that's the only card that allows you to double ramp after you've ramped once on 3. But if you have Onigashima, then you just need 1 ramp, because the Onigashima itself is 2 ramps on
Double
3
ramp,
and
yeah.
6. So I mean, I guess in a way that's also consistency for both Kaidos. And then if you really want to cope, then you could try some SC04. I'm a little bit skeptical if that's actually going to be good though.
I mean, you also get access. I mean, there is definitely a chance that new Kaido is better than old Kaido, but I think in extra format, also access to the board wipe, the Wrath Kaido is just really good.
That's a big boon, I think, even for both Kaidos. Just like I
Yeah.
think the format's pretty vulnerable to the Wraths. Like that's how you beat Goofy, just nuclear board.
Yeah, it's like you get to Tendon when they're still on 6 and you just Wrath them. Seems pretty relevant. And then King stays on the board because he's just a goated like that for some reason. For no apparent reason, he just gets to stick there.
Yeah.
I need to play some Kaido soon.
It's a real deck. I don't think it's like BDAF or anything like that, but I think a solid percentage could appear. And it's especially one of those decks where like if you come into ST Kaido and they go Starve plan and you aren't prepared for it, it could just take your lunch money.
Another like package of cards that I wanted to talk about, we can kind of go to a different one, is the blue removal from the first block, mainly Red Rock and Mihawk. I think like in the previous batch of EGBs, we saw 9-cost Mihawk and 6-cost Red Rock, both in like Nami and UP Luffy as the two main like winners of that. I'm not entirely sure if those are like big hitters in the next format. Also, Ace or Blue Red Ace playing Red Rock is also like a pretty big boon.
Yeah.
But I'm not entirely sure if those decks will be good enough. But I do think that having those tools is going to make the format very, very different. So I'm not entirely sure if you guys are excited to play those. I know they're not the most fun, but I'm curious on your guys' thoughts.
I think Mihawk especially, less so Red Rock. Red Rock could also see play, but I think both of them could see play in Rocks. Rocks is missing a 9-drop for sure. Being able to Rocks the Shiki is just kind of good in the mirror.
Mihawk the Shiki. Yeah.
Mihawk the yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking more about what Jonas was saying, that you could just run the cards in UP Luffy. Like, the 9 Mihawk in general, just like, Blue has a severe lack of being able to get rid of the opponent's board now that things like Red Rock and the 9-cost Mihawk are gone, and just being able to ramp into that even more consistently now, because we also have the 3-cost Yamato that ramps as well while being a blocker, just seems like pretty solid in general for that deck. So, you know, you ramp on 3, you ramp once on 6, and then you're up to 9 dong as UP Luffy, and you have some pretty good tools like the 9-cost Mihawk, like the 8-cost Roger after that. And I mean, whether it's enough, I kind of don't think so. Just I think decks are too fast nowadays, unfortunately. But I mean, there's some cards. You know, there's also Thunder Bagua.
UP was doing really good in 16 extra battles, at least.
I think that was
in
before
Japan.
people were like really on the Goofy train, though, is the thing. I think that once people have been on Goofy, like Goofy just kind of obliterates that deck.
I mean, if you chain Rogers, you can kind of get past it. And I think Goofy just in general is going to be a lot worse in 17. Like at least extra 17. I could be wrong on that one.
You could run some protection, but I was thinking maybe Red Rock is also playable in Goofy, because the main thing Goofy eventually hates is if you go into late game and you didn't like already push enough advantage to start winning, you don't have a way to deal with these really big guys like Olo Beppo and Newgate and whatever. Like you can boa freeze them, and that's the full extent of what you can do. But if you can Red Rock, which is effectively 4 mana, remove anything from the board, maybe there's some extra extra turns that can be played where Goofy just ekes out the win, because it's just like very tempo efficient to remove a 10 cost with what in Goofy is a 4-cost spell. But I was also thinking just along those same lines, if you have this tempo deck that just needs a way to answer big bodies, well, that brings us back, I think, to OP01 Dofi, because he didn't really get any new support, but he can still run some of the generic Rocks tools, which are just really good blue cards. He still has all the same like go wide abilities as before, but he also gets Galdino and access to what he had before in the Red Rock, because Jinbei is also unbanned in EGB. So I can also see that like being a very strong and tempo-oriented deck, which I saw Jonas nodding his head. So I'm sure he maybe has some more to add with all his Dofi expertise.
I do think Goofy's Dofi's probably fine. My main concern is I haven't played much 17, but it looks like Red Ace is like a pretty like prevalent leader. And I do think that like in general, Dofi's always struggled with leaders that become bigger than a 5k in all aspects. And like Ace is like one of the most annoying leaders to attack into with the 4-cost Luffy and the new Newgate that makes your leader an 8k and 7-cost Zoro and all those different cards. It's going to be really hard to actually close a game against red decks compared to how it used to be before. So that's like the one thing I'm really concerned about when playing Dofi. But like, yeah, the deck is quite powerful. I think against a lot of the traditional like 5-life 5k leaders, I think it's going to be more than fine to demolish people out of a game.
Yeah, it still has definitely has that explosive power, but actually Red Ace does also have some pretty good extra cards as well. You know, you have more power increase to your leader in that 9-cost Newgate that also technically gets a rush with your leader effect, and we have Moby Dick as well.
Yeah, I was about to say Moby Dick because that was on my radar, but Moby Dick is yes, okay.
Yeah,
but
there's
like
a couple of cards.
I think with boat you might want to even play just normal Newgate. I mean, like OPO2 Newgate.
That's what I think JCM will bring. Like,
Yeah.
he's gonna be torn between OPO2 and OP17, but he's gonna bring OPO2. We all know it.
Yeah, like OPO2 Newgate, you just get a bunch of cards and you just go really fast. And you hit like an absolute truck. And like the problem with boat and other decks, and like we've seen it before, is just that without a consistent way to get your life out of your life and into your hand, it kind of stalls and just is a dead card a lot of times. I mean, I think that's why Ace never played boat in EB when it was a red blue Ace. But yeah, like OPO2 Newgate, he just gets a bunch of cards.
Yeah, I think the 4-cost EZO is an actual like problem.
That thing is insane. That card is so good.
I feel like now or every single new set, I just see a set of cards and I'm just like, this is the most custom leader card that you could possibly print. And it just makes like a deck go from like 0 to 100 very quickly. Like when I saw 5-cost Nami and 7-cost Robin, I was just like, I don't know why these exist, but all right, we have a Nami deck within the meta now. And I kind of felt similar with Enel, with a lot of the cards that were printed there. And now I feel very, very similar with this all these red cards. So I'm all for red being a good deck. And it seems like preliminary OP17 is kind of leading to Ace being a powerful deck. And I do think that like at the bare minimum, having 1-cost EZO Searcher does help a lot with this deck's consistency, so I'm excited for it.
Yeah. I also think you can even like play Makino in EG Extra Grand Battle. And I also think like I unironically think EZO is the best card in OP17. Like just from a single card perspective. Ignoring
EZO is
everything
really
around
insane.
the cards.
Yeah, no,
I've played very little of it, but it looks dumb.
very crazy
Go ahead.
card.
It's just so insane. And like the fact that they stack is just crazy. And if you play that with boat, it's just a 4-cost 8k character rush. That minus is 6k. That thing's taking out everything in the game.
Yep. Yeah, it is. I mean, definitely like a balance thing. I'm sure that they have a bit of trauma from Mamaragang, that it can only give power reduction to a rested character. So you can't do weird things like power reduction into rested opponent's characters and stuff. So I think it's kind of future-proofing the game. But like even still, just like literally 4-cost 6,000 with character rush that does minus 6k to something can hit into any character in the game, unless it's like the 10-cost Roger that has 13,000 power. But like that character is always going to get something done, assuming that one of the opponent's characters is rested. And like minus 6k is just massive. Like minus 3k is already problematic for a lot of decks, and then minus 6k just guarantees that it dies no matter what. Yeah, so I mean, Newgate, technically Red Green Olden can use that as well. And there's some old Wano Kuni cards. There's like the 1-cost Momonosuke, but that's about it. Just more searches.
There's also Denjiro for Odin.
Oh yeah,
Put some respect on mono cards, please.
Yeah, Denjiro.
I would love for Odin to be good, but
Ooh.
I don't think it's there.
Denjiro has Slash, doesn't he?
Yep.
He does.
Wait, Mihawk Denjiro?
Yeah,
No, he's got to land a Wano. Yeah. That's why I played Odin for some part of OP01. He was the only one that could actually use Denjiro, and you could try to go like mega tempo with Odin leader.
I think
it turns out if you want to get 2-1 back, you can just use Goofy leader ability instead of discarding a card. Crazy stuff.
Quick tangent. I still think in OP01 that Odin was actually the best deck, but that's a different tangent that we don't have to get
I remember
into.
us having this conversation at First Worlds.
Yeah, we had this
on
conversation.
Odin being extremely underrated.
I want to talk about another set of cards, if you guys don't mind. Sorry, Kai.
No, go ahead. I was about to start talking about Garino then.
Oh, no.
Go ahead.
The one I was going to talk about is, I guess it is Wano cards, but it's mostly for Mihawk. I do think that mainly Paradise Waterfall is actually a really big upgrade for Mihawk and EGB, and in a similar like space Spiderweb. I do think that green not having restands is like a really big problem that exists in like the current problems with Mihawk, because like you just lose when you rest your Shanks and it gets shrunk, or rest your Mihawk and it gets shrunk, and your opponent swings like 2 into 2 or like 5 into 2. And now it's a lot scarier whenever you get to have Dawn up. So I'm not entirely sure if it kind of makes like Mihawk like a tier 0 deck or even just a fine deck, but I really do like the existence of Paradise Waterfall that makes like Hirotama's searchers a lot better, and having resend opportunities in a lot of matchups like Anel and red decks. So I'm not entirely sure if you guys want to try that deck out in EGB because it's still good, but
Yeah,
I
that sounds
think
terrible to fight
even
against.
now, it's in Japan. I think in EGB they are playing waterfalls at least. Card is
Oh,
just really good.
yeah, there was actually, because we have a extra grand battle. I believe maybe by the time that this episode is out, it will have already passed. But this weekend, I think it was the Kyoto extra, like large scale extra
Yeah.
grand battle in Japan, which Gavin will be casting. So I mean, we're kind of talking from the past here, but there's a large scale extra grand battle in Japan, probably the first in the world for that, with all the new fancy ace prizing and UP Luffy and whatnot. But because of that, there's been some unofficial tournaments that have been in the extra format to get people ready for that. And the deck that won, I didn't check like too deeply into it because I didn't get into that tournament, unfortunately. But the deck that won was a green Mihawk list that was running, I believe, Paradise Waterfall, but also the 10 cost Doflamingo. So you just
Oh yeah, that's another card. That's just
stun the
really
opponent's
good.
characters, and then you restand 3 dong and just kind of ruin their day, sort of thing.
Yeah,
So,
it's a really good mirror breaker.
yeah.
I don't miss playing against that card. God bless.
Yeah, I mean, that card, when you could chain it, it was just so crazy back in the day, especially. It was just denying 3 attacks permanently. And it's not like nowadays where, like, I mean, denying the ability to, like, rest or the ability to attack is, like, one thing. But, like, denying them the ability to restand in general, it allows you to chain it over and over and over again. And just kind of, like, suffocate some decks out of the game completely, especially because there was no cost restriction on that card, I'm pretty sure. Like, that was a pretty good card, considering
That thing
how
hits
old it
everything.
is.
Sounds disgusting. Holy. I don't know that.
Yeah, no, I think at least in the 16 point.
leader, right? So it's like leader, 2 biggest characters. Like, go have fun, bro.
Oh, that's actually crazy because in extra 17 you've got Linlin and Rocks to rest too.
Yeah.
That's kind of disgusting.
Yeah, no.
Oh, that's so disgusting. And you can even like all out after that. Oh, that's so disgusting. Oh, I'm not looking forward to Mihawk in OP17 extra.
Dude, oh my god. Wait, imagine the opponent has like a massive board and you just 10 Doflamingo, stun their 2 large characters and their leader, and then Luna the rest of it, so they literally nothing restands.
Then it hits you with the rush shanks. Never let them your next.
Yeah, then they let you just do that 2 turns in a row, build your board, and then rush shanks. Oh god, that's a little disgusting. I did not want to have that conversation.
Imagine mirrors, but instead of wall Beppo chains, it's Tenko's Doffy chains. Like, on both ends. I don't know.
I'm actually curious as to like the balance of that because you do want something to rest things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have 10 cost shanks. It just rests everything.
Yeah, but that won't last.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it depends on like the targets that you're actually trying to get rid of. Like if it's in Luna range, then you can just force it into being a rested position for Luna. If it's larger and they choose not to rest their thing, then like that's a whole nother thing, I imagine. But I mean, it's also a very good 10 cost Shanks counter as well, just because the rush on that, you immediately stun it back. I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems like it's worth
I
cooking.
will say, like just in general, I'm really upset that the Japanese tournament is in OP 16.5 just because the way that the Japanese system works, people that are going to this are actually going to be like focusing on this, whereas I feel like most of the people going to Europe are not going to be focusing on EGB. It's just going to be the thing they do while they're also doing Flame Flamer finals. So I think like if we're gonna get some weird, unique extra deck, it's gonna be here. So I just wish it was in 17, not 16.5.
I think it'll definitely leave like good framework though. Like people see some surprise pick and then they can just test how it does into some of the weird OP17 threats. But yeah, the OP17 does seem like it's going to add a lot of new threats, so no guarantee that it's actually going to work out. But I mean, I think we're going to see some pretty cool things, things that we haven't thought of as well. Like, I mean, even OP01, what is it? The 5 cost green Law, for example. That's a blocker and bounces back a character and puts down a 3 cost. Like, that card's just pretty good. That's another Mihawk card. Ugh. You could play it off of the 6 cost.
There's no good 3 costs though.
That's fair. I
Like,
mean,
that's been the problem for that card since forever.
yeah,
I mean,
that's fair.
you can just like replay your searcher though, which isn't bad.
Yeah, but it's like Dread Monet then, just search,
Yeah.
which is like,
Right.
On 5/6 blocker, search isn't
like
terrible.
if there's one kid that's gonna make life, one card that's gonna make life painful for people, it's 8-cost Kid.
I love
in
8-cost
Mihawk.
Kid. I love
Because
my boy.
yeah, he just gets to play it on 8, tap the kid, or tap something else, get back 3 Dawn, attach one of those Dawn. I don't know. He gets to do all the funny stuff he does now, but now he locks out yellow decks out of the game, which, to be fair, nobody's gonna miss. Nobody at all. Especially not
I
me.
do think 8-cost Kid is a card you should run at least one of in your Mihawk
Yeah,
decks right
especially
now.
now that the deck has so much access to filtering. Like you have the Kinemon, you have the Mihawk. It's
Yeah.
much less of a like both in Red Green Law and Mihawk. It's going to be much less of a liability to run this like tech card that you sometimes want to see and don't want in like against Purple NL or against maybe even Rocks because of the Shiki plus Kaido. Like you can just toss it away with your Kinemon or your Mihawk and you don't have to worry about it. But against decks where it works, it's going to win you the game instantly. So it's like, why not play it?
Yeah, dude, that card's crazy, isn't it? I'm like thinking back, reflecting on the game back in the day, but like that card is just really good. Makes your leader 8k essentially for the rest of the game, and also the turn that it's played drops down a 3-cost presumably blocker alongside it as well. Yeah, I mean that also seems like one of those Mihawk mirror breakers. So I think, I mean, we just keep talking about more reasons to play Mihawk in extra. I wonder what even beats that at this point.
Ooh, oh wait. Speaking of beating that, do you guys think that we can play promo Nami now that we have enough cards?
Oh, you can play Promo Nami. You could play it already, and not extra.
We have enough cards. We get a new East Blue card. Oh, okay. I thought it was 48
In
for a
extra,
while.
you can play it. You could always play it.
Oh, sorry. I just meant like,
yeah.
is it better now in extra? I feel like the format's slowed down a decent amount, with the exception of Goofy and NL. I'm not entirely sure how those matchups play out, but probably not good. But I do think that Nami and EGB is not the worst if you think it's going to be a lot of like Mihawk, like 10-drop slop. So
Yeah, I think like you auto lose to Goofy. You usually lose to NL unless you get really lucky and they don't draw 6-cost on curve. Like if they miss that, you sort of have a chance. A low chance, but a chance. Mihawk should be favored. It was traditionally favored at least. As far as new decks, Ace seems like unwinnable.
too many rushers. Yeah, the rush is annoying.
And they also have double attack rush. Like it's
Yeah,
just everybody they play gets rushed, so it just seems kind of rough. Linlin is the freest matchup in the world, which we always love to see. The black Luffy, Elbaf, Sabo, pick your flavor is probably rough, but probably not terrible just because they actually have to draw the big guy to get access.
This does not sound like a good matchup spread. But if someone brings Nami and UP, we're probably fine.
And the nice thing about Nami though is that people are gonna fuck up against it.
True.
Like that's even if you have a deck that's favored into it, if you don't know why it's favored into it, you're just gonna lose. Unless you're playing Ace, I think that's probably just unwinnable.
I'm sure there's gonna be one or two Nami one tricks deciding promo Namis. Like there's a few of those decks where I think some people will bring them no matter what, just because they get to play them like with higher polish for the first time in a while. Like the Nami, Lucci. To be fair, Lucci might actually be straight up good. But
Lucci's probably good.
Yeah, Nami, EBO2, sorry, OPO2, Whitebeard.
Red Green Law is probably gonna have some people.
I think Red Green Law is also legitimately good, so I wouldn't put it in the same category as. I guess all these decks can potentially be good. Like without testing, it's like impossible to be certain, or at least it's very brave to make any statements. Like I'm not sure if there's any room for the old Rebecca with the mix of new Dressrosa support. Probably not, but
Probably not.
it's fun to think about.
We can dream.
Nah, yeah, I think, I mean, the actual, like, only good Rebecca support that we got was back in OP10, I believe, with the 4-cost Zoro that KOs a 4-cost, and that feels like it's kind of been power crept out of the game a bit. We haven't gotten, like, any solid cost-based removal with the new Rebecca in blue, aside from just some good consistency tools like the 1-cost Rebecca, 1-cost Viola, which are pretty solid, I will say, but yeah, I mean, I think you are basically just going to be playing an OP04 deck in OP17, just playing like Orlumbus plus Kuros and hoping that it's enough to get rid of something.
And all
Yeah,
the other old leaders I can think of kind of have the problem where at some point Bandai just printed a new and better version of them. Like, I'm trying to think of any exceptions to this rule, but there kind of aren't many.
Yeah, I don't think we've had like a 4-cost meta in a long time. Like the meta right now is more like a 6-cost or a 7-cost meta. I had to do that, but I got Hrvoje Hedžet. That's all that matters.
Always.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a 6-7 meta with splashes of 10.
It's a little sprinkle.
Just a little sprinkle. Just a little bit.
Okay, is Emu playable?
No.
So I will say, that the Mihawk matchup is significantly better now that people aren't just putting in a bunch of 7-cost Shanks and 9-cost Mihawk and whatnot. But
Have you been following the news?
there's a lot of problems aside from that. I have also seen, we also talked about a little bit last time as well, the 7-cost Shanks making a little bit of a comeback in Western lists. But in the East, though, people aren't running 4 fun, people aren't running the 7-cost Shanks, so Emu's slightly better, but even still not very good. Yeah, still though, I don't think 4 fun makes the cut in OP17. I think that there's a lot of really good 8K bodies, unfortunately.
Yeah, probably not, but there's a lot of things that don't make the cut in OP17. Like, I'm not even sure if RG is any good in this OP17.
I think
that's
it's
just too bad.
probably awful, which makes me sad, but
Does it make you sad, Mr. Bandai?
I'm not Mr. Stop.
You should have made, Gavin, you should have like put in more red-green support for Straw Hats and you wouldn't be sad.
Yeah,
You're
if I had the power,
Soon we need new engine. Like, with the double attack Luffy isn't cutting it. Like make it 6,
Fun
8,
fact.
end of turn,
Fun
recent
fact.
Triton.
Here's an actual fun fact. Usually Bandai outsources the actual design, so they're not the ones that are saying make like this is the card we want.
That
Like
makes
the
sense.
text is almost never designed by Bandai.
But the characters are? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like
Or-
characters, leaders. We want like a set that does this kind of thing, or like a set based around this is like all Bandai, but the actual text is outsourced.
That makes sense, to be fair. I would not expect
Yeah.
Bandai, the video game company, to try and design a TCG. But now that does make me more interested in like what the TCG team looks like. But they've never
Yeah,
really
and,
been
like,
open about that.
That's also why like I think like there are a bunch of Bandai games is there's like a bunch of teams. It's not just one team. It's not like the guys that are designing One Piece are designing Digimon and Naruto and Union Arena, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Are they not designing
I'm pretty sure-
Naruto? I thought I heard that they
I
were
don't
the same
know
team.
for sure. I've heard
Okay.
rumors, but I don't know anything for sure.
I see.
I mean, Konami does it the same way. BT Dubs. I don't know if people know that either.
How?
Konami doesn't design their game. Konami outsources the text of Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a different company that actually designs the text.
Again, not that surprising, yeah. But I do wonder like how it gets treated internally when somebody makes One Piece and now like they're selling everything like hotcakes, and this other team made like Battle Spirit Saga, and is it like they get shot out the back? Like, yeah, Battle Spirit
I mean,
Saga.
I think it depends. I think like they have multiple teams, and I also think it's like, what was I gonna say? Bandai will have like say as well, right? It's not just like this is the text and you have to deal with it. Like they have say in everything, but they're not like the main designers of the team. Is the only
Does
thing.
Oda have a say? Like, is Oda ever included in the pipeline for card game design?
I don't think
Like,
on
if it's
design.
like a
I
very
think for,
special
like,
Luffy card for anniversary, do they like go, hey, Oda does this look cool too?
I highly doubt it.
I
I
mean,
know he says like he has a say in art.
Yeah, I've heard some things. Yeah, I have heard though that Oda is the one who specifically requested the card game to be made. So I mean, we have
Yeah.
him to thank for that. But aside,
That's the rumor.
yeah,
Praise
aside from
God,
that,
Oda.
The big rumor is his kids were playing a different TCG. Cough, cough, wink, wink. And his kids were asking why he didn't have a TCG, and that's why he asked for a One Piece TCG. Is the story?
Based.
That's a great origin story.
Like, I'm sure Michael Jordan's kids didn't wear like AI shoes. Like,
Yeah, and a couple of years later, suddenly here we are, yapping on the All Blue podcast to be listened to by anywhere from 10 to 20,000 people. So, yay!
mean-
Thank you, Oda.
If they make it this far, because we've been talking for a while, haven't we?
Yes.
It's been like an hour. I think this is one of the slower paced podcasts that we are doing.
Yeah, when it's card
Mhm.
review, we're just one after the other, go, 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 go. But it's good that we can kind of take some time to just bounce around some ideas. I'm trying to think if there's any other decks that can surprise. I do think that, like, before rotation hit in Japan, you know, when Japan is still a little bit ahead of the West and stuff, we had a big resurgence of Red Green Law. Just the best 8-cost kid user back in the day, because you had 8-cost kid, but you also had the protection of the 5-cost X-Drake in red. So there was like some pretty decent things that deck had going for it. And I mean, it has just gotten better as a whole, because it is a slash leader, but because it's a slash leader, you know, you can still use things like the 6-cost Mihawk. That can...
Kinemon.
Yeah, oh yeah, the 1-cost Kiemon. I'm trying to think. I forget if X-Drake was
Odin.
slash, but
X-Trick
is
is
it?
slash.
Yeah,
X-Trick is
okay.
always slash. Yeah.
I mean, that's
Just
pretty
go
good then.
Mihawk, X-Drake.
Yeah, I mean, that deck sounds pretty solid. I never... I regret not playing Red Green Law way back in the day, but because I didn't play it
It
back
was
then,
so much fun.
yeah, I'm hesitant to like take that deep dive at this point after it's already rotated out of the game.
It's still a good like learning experience at the very least, and you're gonna have a blast learning. So it can't be too bad.
It's
He
definitely one of the
also
more
gets to really
fun.
abuse the. I think I'm not sure if there's space for it, but maybe it's like a 1-off or a 2-off, because you have the cycling. You could also run the 2K Galdino from ST30, like the one that attaches down to 6Ks, because you're still gonna have your Cavendishes. You're probably gonna play the Odins. You're probably gonna run some number of blocker Bonnies, I assume, rather than the blocker laws. Because again, there's no really good 3-costs. And then you have this guy that just attaches 3 Don, and then you bounce it back and do it again next turn. So it's like kind of hyper Machina in a way. Because
Yeah,
Machina
that's
gives you
true.
3k for one Don, and this gives you 4k for 2. But you can potentially replay it as well.
Oh, okay. This might be super troll and underpowered, but can we just like play RG Law with the Wano package again, like we used to in OP1? Because
There are
like
better red Wano cards, no?
there's also a good 5-drop to put in play,
Yeah,
and the new
Yeah.
Odin.
5-cost Ultimate. Oh man, it's too bad that the 4-cost Ezel is leader locked. But I mean, I guess if you...
Oh, that'd be
Thank
silly.
God it's leader locked.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hey, I mean, if you are playing Red Green Olden, though, that probably seems to be the more sensible Wano leader if you want to play that in extra. But you can play the 4-cost Ezel, you can play the 7-cost Olden, which can also play out the 5-cost Olden as well. So there's some things there.
Did Otama rotate, or was she like part of the package that stayed?
She
She's
rotated.
rotated. Yeah,
Okay,
She's
well, we get
rotated.
it back.
that's true.
She's the goat rotated.
There's some, like... Yeah, Otama's a crazy card. Makino was pretty crazy back in the day. Tsuru is very good. There's just a lot of
Machina's still kind of crazy.
very good cards back in the day. I mean, Makino feels a little bit less crazy now because there's a lot of weenie hate in the game, and so therefore a lot of weenies have become like 2-cost and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's still just a well-statted card, I guess, for a 2K.
Yeah, a lot of them are now not necessarily in red. Even when you do these shared packages, like red has been, skimping on getting good searchers lately. Like it's almost always the same old Straw Hat Nami. But for example, now if you were to run a Supernova Law, like I don't think you would. Oh no, you'd have the Luffy, but he's 0 power, so
Yeah.
you wouldn't really have a Machina target in Law with that package.
I mean, Whitebeard gets Ezo, which is something to Machina, I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like
Winter
Machina's
was-
good.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I feel like Machina is one of the few cards in Block 1 that I think still holds its mettle in terms of how powerful it is. Just like 1 Dawn for 3 power or 3k power, just like translates still very, very well.
Yeah, like I think almost all of those types of cards ended up being either 1+3 on play, or like 1+2 for like rest and activate main. Like almost none of them are as good as Machina was in Shoe Set 2.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird relics of the past, like for no reason. I I believe it was Higurashi. It was just a 2-cost 3,000 power blocker with 1k counter when every other blocker is 2-cost 2,000 power. Not that it really matters, but there's a lot of fun OP01 design choices that didn't really make sense at the time. But that's a lot of fun. There's also
Purple needed it.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember who was the guy in OP01 that was like sitting like this who had Barutomeo's fruit before Barutomeo? Kurozumi Higurashi? Is it? I don't remember if it's Higurashi or
the Tuka's blocker or something in purple, or
Yeah, I think so.
yeah. I don't think it was a blocker. It was a
Higurashi
2-cost
2-cost
that.
blocker, I think.
Yeah, Higurashi was the blocker, and he had the ability to protect anything that was Kurozumi, I believe, and then you could basically just reuse the Higurashi blocker every single turn because he just couldn't die.
Combo.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's like
Don't remember the
some
name.
ancient ball knowledge.
yeah, there's some
Semimaru. Kurozumi Semimaru.
yeah, Kurozumi Semimaru. That was a
Yeah.
lot of fun. Terrible right now, I would imagine, but like back in the day,
Oh,
you had
absolutely
no
awful
way
right
of
now.
dealing with that. So you just got a free blocker every single turn.
Yeah, Kurozumi was like its own little tiny archetype for some reason.
Yeah.
That's a blast from the past.
I wonder if there's any merit to. I mean, there probably is to Green Yellow Arlong now that the Thriller Swap package exists, and it's all 4-cost
Not even just
characters.
Not even the thriller slot, but even like 3-cost pudding as well.
Because he used to be like Doffy, but less card efficient, and now you have all these very very efficient trigger effects and bodies that necessarily won't die easily. You could probably also run like some top end that suits the deck, like the 8-cost each.
Is Arlong slash or strike?
Slash.
Slash.
And that's the end of that conversation.
And thus another conversation has ended.
Another Mihawk victim enters the chat. It does feel like if a leader has slash, it's just condemned, which is very unfortunate. 6,000 power leader with 5 life is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. It's just true. Mihawk leader is just on the list.
You also get to run one of your favorite cards again, Yonas, if you really want to, in Okama Way. Because both Crocodile leaders in purple are actually... I don't think they... I actually don't remember if they got any new support, but...
I mean,
if you want...
Yellow Croc is yellow, so that's something.
That's true.
I'll play 7-cost Robin for no text, just for the love of the game. I mean, that card got a lot worse once they printed Black Yellow Teach and Purple Dofi, to be honest. Like, you just have those effects inherently on leaders, which is a lot more disgusting.
Yeah. Man, there's so many fun effects from back in the day. Like, I really like the 2-cost Sugar as well. That rests a 4-cost on play, and then when the opponent rests or plays a character, you rest another thing. There's like a lot of just fun tools back in the day that introduced a lot of obstacles into the game. Some of them were a little bit too strong in the case of like 8-cost Kid, who basically defined the Japan finals 3 years in a row until it was rotated out. And
What are you talking about?
didn't it win like every single Japan finals that it was allowed to
Japan
exist?
finals. Sorry, I thought you were saying
Yeah.
World Finals. Sorry,
No.
that was a maybe. That was a solid maybe.
No. World finals is completely in control of the world government, but
Yeah, world government got that on lock.
Japan finals though completely in control of Kid Pirates. So I mean, it'll be fun to see what people end up bringing to Extra Grand Battle. Any closing thoughts? Any sort of decks that you maybe want to? I don't know exactly if there's anything really worth talking about at this point, but I mean, my main takeaway from this is need to find a deck that can beat Mihawk even with all of the new cards or maybe old cards that he gets for Extra Grand Battle.
Cancer Kaido, baby.
The what?
Cancer Kaido. You never attack. You just sit there, looking menacingly, burn all their life.
Is this your invention or part of the Japanese slang for deck naming?
This is my invention.
I like Cancer Kaido.
Because I remember Hikikomori NL for Starve NL in...
No, because we aren't just starving. We are slowly encroaching on your life. And that's why it's cancer.
Very slowly.
Because cancer always kills.
Oh my. It doesn't always. We're still gonna get canceled instantly.
It's fine. I don't. Yeah. I mean, whatever. Hopefully, don't have to play Kai or Mihawk. We'll find something else to play. But
Yeah.
I don't really want to
Just-
play
just-
any more green.
Yeah, it just sounds like. I mean, this is gonna be a problem until more sets rotate, and it's probably gonna remain a problem for as long as there's power creep. Like that's why I always hated rotation. Like you haven't really solved anything in regards to which leaders are going to be played by rotating out the old card pool, which largely doesn't affect what's going on right now. So if EGB truly does end up being just a bunch of current decks performing up to their usual standards with a couple old cards which slot in nicely, I will not be surprised because they're the best decks right now and they're a product of years of power creep, mainly in terms of consistency and maintaining card advantage. So, yeah.
I mean, I think it will change a lot once set like block 2 rotates. I think the power discrepancy between block 1 and block 2 was insane,
And imagine if they unban 8 Cosmoria.
which will probably happen.
Ooh, just unban every banned card once rotation
Oh,
happens.
is that the statement from Gavin Bandai?
Gavin
That's not the
Bandai
difference.
used
His name's not Gavin
No,
Bandai anymore.
They actually said, okay, Bandai actually said in their announcement that they plan on unbanning things when they leave rotation, and that they would relook at cards. The assumption is they will get unbanned, but they will get a second look every time they come off the ban list, theoretically.
I will put this on the record. I will boycott every EGB if they unban pudding after block 2 rotation.
I will too.
I will not. I think it's going to be too good, but I will be very mad every time I lose. Very mad.
Yeah, but like block 2, if we get Moria back, that will be insane. Pudding will be absolutely ridiculous.
Are we even running that many block 2 cards in decks nowadays? Like, for Mihawk, it's...
I don't think it's that we're
It's
running a bunch of block
Wikilia
2 cards. I
calls
think
them-
it's that a lot of good cards from block 2 were banned.
Yeah, but I feel like that's what I'm saying. Like, even when the stuff comes back, very like a very low number of cards is going to remain relevant, because what we have right now that's relevant is like G-Blade, Luna, Trikiller Cosm, I guess. I'm probably forgetting a couple more just because there's so many colors, but I feel like most decks are playing with stuff from OP11 onwards.
Yeah.
I mean,
Maybe
like,
I mean, 5
Bonclay's
Cost
a big
Cavendish,
one.
Bonclay.
Sorojiro is a big
But the-
one.
When's the last time somebody played Bonclay or Cavendish against you?
I mean, like, UP Luffy and Extra plays Bonclay
When's the last
and
time you played against
Sorojiro.
Luffy?
Gamma Knife. Gamma Knife.
I
I
That's a
played
big one.
against
Okay,
them,
Gamma
like,
Knife is a good example.
last
Gamma Knife is a
month.
good example.
for like straight up. Like UP is like a real thing right now in Japan, in the Extra format.
Also, don't ban Quasar. Sorry, I forgot about that. That's also block 2.
Okay, Vegapunk is blocked too.
Ooh.
Like, what are we saying?
Oh.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah,
No. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, if they get rid of the pair ban.
There's no way that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like there's a lot of stuff that like, if they unban Block 2 goes absolutely insane.
Yeah, that's a little
But
bit
for the
scary.
most part, block 2 cards don't see play right now.
Yeah,
That
I
is
do think
true, but-
there's some pretty
That's
scary
fair.
cards. I think there's also, like Slow Beam Sword is like another one that like just you fill into the rest of your deck in purple and whatnot. Like
As a
there's
one-off.
some, yeah, there's some good cards.
Huh.
One Kastama is a big one as well. 5
Wait,
Kazbani
no, I
is
like
a-
her.
A lot of
Please.
play. Yeah, like 1 Kastama, 5 Kazbani, both are seeing play.
Like, which fight was Bonnie?
Stun
Oh, the
Bunny.
freeze
Yeah,
one.
Sun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
Carrot
more-
stopped seeing play, but could come back. Luna. Luna.
I think
Oh,
Luna is
Luna
the
is
big one.
blocked too?
That I did mention, but Mihawk doesn't even run it. Like, he's gonna run it in 17, but
Yeah, but like in
It's like
17 he's
you're-
gonna run it. Like
Man,
There's
all
stuff.
that's so crazy. I can't believe that they printed Luna with counter. I cannot forgive that they allow green players to play 8 Lunas if they wanted to.
Luna's the better card though, overall I'd say.
It
Random
very much
aside,
depends. Yeah.
so I got really mad because someone referred to I know you're strong as KYS, and I was just
Yeah.
so frustrated. And I don't know who started this, but I'm going to find this person.
they do this in chats, like in strategy chats in the big server all the time. Like, they just always short it into KYS. I was like, okay. I'm not even
Oh,
gonna
dude,
bother.
losing
It's
9
like a league chat
Kasanji is
all over
also
again.
pretty big.
Wait, which card?
9 Sanji.
Oh, I haven't
Gavin is
stuck
too
there.
UP build. Far too UP build.
No, it has a
Oh, it's
manga.
BRBO2 stamped.
Oh yeah,
oh,
sorry,
yeah, it's
it has
also
a,
manga.
it has
Yeah.
yeah, it has a manga, so that's
Yeah,
fine.
so it's actually fine. But
Okay,
yeah,
that's fine.
yeah. I mean, I guess otherwise, Hrvoje, one of Hrvoje's favorite cards, 3 Nami, also rotating out. Blocker that draws a card.
Dude, we're gonna lose such an important card. Oh my god, we're gonna
Wait, what?
lose the Buckin. We're gonna
Yeah.
lose Buckin, man.
Oh, our counter in our rocks deck is rotating.
Oh
Nami that draws a
no.
card.
It's the black one in
one.
BY.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, I forgot that exists.
Since when do people have 6 cards in hand, by the way? Like, last weekend I had 16 cards in hand regularly when I was playing Mihawk. This is a new
Okay,
era.
16 is a bit too much. But I usually find myself in both Goofy and Mihawk. I'm holding 11, and it's like, yeah,
Wait.
Game's
Should
looking
we unban pudding?
Nah.
The second that they banned pudding, I don't know, man.
Unban pudding?
Let me be comfortable at 0 for a long time. I don't want to have to counter and play around yellow cards, trashing my life.
playing at 0 is some of the most fun One Piece because they have to go into your face, but if you can navigate it, you're gonna get there eventually, hopefully.
I want
It
like
is
a
some of the
fair
most
pudding.
fun games to play out and like turn around.
For sure. Lots of fun things to try. Anything else you guys want to say before we start to wrap up? Seems pretty good. Okay, well, I guess then we will start to wrap it up there. We kind of bounced around a little bit, but regardless, thank you very much, Gavin, for joining us as a little special guest. I see a incomplete studio behind you, so hopefully that'll be done. We'll see a little bit more of you, maybe on the All Blue podcast, maybe in some other places. Thank you very much for everyone who's listened up to this point. Make sure to like, subscribe, leave all of your questions for us in the comments or the iKailaKai that is linked in the description below. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh boy.